Elena hated the night shift. The hotel lobby looked glamorous to outsiders, golden lights, marble floors, velvet silence. But to her, it felt like being trapped in a glass box where entitled strangers believed everything had a price. Tonight was no different. A handsome guest in a tailored suit leaned on the counter, flashing a smile that was a little too confident. "Come on," he coaxed. "Give me your number. One drink. I promise I'm harmless." Elena forced a polite smile. "Sir, please, this is a workplace. I can help you with room service, not—" A shadow cut across the marble. Someone stepped between them. Tall, broad-shouldered, dressed in a black coat that matched the sharp, cold aura rolling off him. The guest blinked. Excuse me? We're talking." The newcomer didn't spare him a glance. His eyes, midnight dark, unreadable, stayed locked on Elena's. "Elena," he said quietly, "is busy." Her breath froze. She knew that voice. Adrian Vesper. The man guests whispered about. The man hotel staff avoided. The man who moved like every room belonged to him. The guest scoffed. "Man, who do you think you?" Adrian turned his head slowly. One look. One cold, lethal stare. The guest stumbled backward as if punched by fear itself. And then Adrian said it, softly but with a promise that chilled the air. "Any man who looks your way, I remove." The guest paled, muttered an apology and hurried off without another word. Elena stood frozen, gripping the counter to steady herself. "What are you doing here?" she whispered once the man disappeared. Adrian stepped closer. The distance between them tightened until she could feel the heat of his presence. He smelled like rain and danger. His answer was simple. Quiet. Possessive. Watching. Her pulse jumped. "You can't keep doing this." "I can," he said. "And I will." She opened her mouth to argue, then her coworker ran out from the back room breathless. "Elena. That guest, he checked out already. Said he has an emergency flight. He left in a panic." Elena swallowed hard and looked back at Adrian. He didn't smile. He didn't gloat. He just said calmly, "Don't let men approach you. I won't warn them twice." And with that he walked away, leaving Elena shaken, confused, and even more afraid of the truth she didn't yet know. Elena barely slept that night. Every time she closed her eyes she saw Adrian's stare, dark, possessive, unwavering. She tried convincing herself it was coincidence. Maybe he just happened to be at the hotel. Maybe he wasn't watching her. But by morning the truth hit harder. He was everywhere. When she stepped out of her apartment building, a black car idled on the curb. She recognized it immediately, the same sleek, tinted vehicle Adrian always used. As she walked toward the bus stop, her phone buzzed with an unknown number. "Unknown. Take a taxi today. Don't stand outside alone." Her heart dropped. She didn't reply. She shoved her phone into her bag and hurried off. But the car followed at a slow, deliberate pace, never overtaking her, just watching. At work things were no better. "Elena, someone dropped this off for you," her manager said, handing her a small black envelope with her name written in elegant handwriting. She didn't need to open it to know who sent it. Inside was a single sentence. "Keep your distance from men who can't protect you." Her hands shook. Her manager frowned. "Everything okay?" "I'm fine," Elena lied. But she wasn't. She felt like a butterfly trapped in a glass jar, every movement observed, every breath shadowed by the man who claimed her without permission. During her break, she slipped outside, hoping fresh air would calm her nerves. Instead, she froze. Adrian stood by the hotel entrance, speaking quietly to two men in black suits. His posture was relaxed, but his expression was a warning carved in stone. He glanced her way. Their eyes locked, and the world narrowed to just the two of them. She marched toward him, anger replacing fear. "Stop following me. Stop sending cars. Stop." He stepped closer, towering over her. "A man approached you last night." "So?" she snapped. Adrian's jaw tightened. "I warned him." "Warned?" Her throat tightened. "He disappeared." "He left," Adrian corrected coldly. "Because he understood. Others might not." Her pulse raced. "You can't control my life." Adrian leaned in until his breath brushed her ear. "I'm not controlling it," he murmured. "I'm protecting it." Then his gaze hardened. "And I'll remove anyone who thinks otherwise." Elena's blood ran cold. Because he meant it. Elena had reached her limit. By the end of her shift, she couldn't focus. Adrian's shadow felt like it stretched across every corner of the hotel, even when he wasn't in sight. She needed answers. She needed the truth. She needed something to break the confusion drowning her. So when her coworker Mia whispered, "Elena, someone left something in your locker," she felt her stomach twist. Inside the locker sat a slim, matte black folder. Her name was printed on the front. Not handwritten. Printed. Elena's pulse hammered as she opened it. Her breath stopped. Inside were documents, dozens of them. Her school records. Her employment files. Her apartment lease. Photos of her walking home, entering work, riding buses. Even a medical report from an emergency room visit years ago, one she barely remembered. A cold sweat slicked her palms. This wasn't protection. This was surveillance. Her head spun. She snapped the folder shut and rushed outside into the cool night air, lungs burning with panic. She didn't even realize she was shaking until she felt a coat drape over her shoulders. Adrian's voice came from behind her. Quiet. Unapologetic. You weren't supposed to see that yet. Elena spun around, fury igniting her fear. What is wrong with you? How long have you been collecting things on me? Adrian didn't flinch. Long enough. That's not an answer. He stepped closer, expression unreadable. That file exists because of something you've forgotten. What? Her voice cracked. What could possibly justify spying on me? His jaw tightened, the first sign of tension she had ever seen from him. You were targeted once. Years ago. You survived, but you lost the memory. The men who wanted you, they don't forget. Elena stared at him, stunned. You're lying. I don't lie to you, Adrian said softly. Not about this. She shook her head, backing away. No, I don't believe you. I would remember something like that. Adrian's eyes darkened, not with anger but with something deeper. Regret? You remember pieces, he said. Nightmares. Shadows. Fear you can't explain. Her heart froze. How did he know? He reached out, brushing a fingertip over her trembling hand, barely a touch but enough to anchor her. You were marked, Elena, he whispered. And I will not let them take you again. Elena didn't go home that night. She couldn't. Her world felt like a cracked mirror, everything familiar suddenly distorted. Adrian's words followed her like a ghost. You were targeted once. You survived. You forgot. She sat in the empty staff lounge, staring at her hands, trying to drag memories out of the fog. But all she found were fragments. Shadows. Screams. A man's cold hand gripping her wrist. And a whisper, found her. Her chest tightened. Had that really happened? The door clicked open. Mia stepped inside cautiously. Elena? I didn't want to leave you alone. Elena forced a shaky smile. I'm fine. Really? Mia hesitated, then sat beside her. Is this about the man who keeps coming here? Elena stiffened. You noticed? Everyone did. Mia lowered her voice. Elena, he's dangerous. But he's dangerous for you. Not against you. Elena blinked. What's that supposed to mean? Mia swallowed. I wasn't going to say anything, but earlier today before you arrived, Adrian was here. In the hallway. And he was arguing with some guy. Arguing? Elena whispered. He told the guy, if you ever touch her again, I'll put you in the ground. He wasn't joking. Elena's stomach nodded. Who was the man? Mia shook her head. I've never seen him. But he looked scared. Really scared. Before Elena could respond, the lounge lights flickered. And her phone buzzed. Unknown number, he's lying to you. You remember me. And I remember you. Her blood turned to ice. Another message followed instantly. I said I'd come back for you. You can't hide behind him forever. Elena's hands shook violently. No, this can't be real. Mia grabbed her arm. Elena? What's wrong? Elena couldn't speak. Because as the third message arrived, her vision blurred, and a long-buried memory slammed into her. A dark warehouse. Men shouting. Pain slicing her arm. And Adrian's voice yelling her name as he carried her out. Her breath hitched. A sob escaped before she could stop it. Mia squeezed her hand. Elena, talk to me. But Elena was already standing. Because she suddenly understood two things. Someone from that forgotten night had found her. And Adrian wasn't obsessed. He was terrified. Elena didn't wait until her shift ended. She stormed out of the hotel, adrenaline burning through her veins. The street was quiet, but her pulse wasn't. Every sound felt too sharp, every shadow too long. Adrian wasn't far. Of course he wasn't. He stood beside his black car, speaking with one of his men. The moment he saw her, his expression hardened, like he already knew something was wrong. Elena. He closed the distance in a few strides. What happened? She shoved her phone into his chest. Read it. Adrian scanned the messages. His jaw locked. His eyes turned deadly. The kind of deadly that made grown men beg. Elena? His voice dropped to a dangerous calm. Where were you when these arrived? In the lounge at work. Mia was with me. He nodded slowly, breathing through the rage. Good. You weren't alone. She crossed her arms, trying to steady herself. Adrian, who is he? What does he want? Adrian didn't answer. Instead he looked at his men. Double the perimeter. No blind spots. Anyone suspicious, remove them. Her pulse jumped. Adrian, stop talking like I'm some object you own. He turned back to her, and for the first time she saw something she never expected from him. Fear. You are marked, he said tightly. Whether you remember that night or not, they do. They've waited for you to be alone. Vulnerable. Unprotected. I'm not helpless. I know, Adrian murmured. But they don't care. They will take you anyway. Her chest tightened. His words weren't controlling, they were raw, shaken, honest. Elena? He took a step closer, lowering his voice. Do you think I follow you because of obsession? Yes, she whispered. What else could it be? His gaze darkened, intense enough to trap her breath. I follow you because I survived that night too. He exhaled slowly. And I swore it would never happen again. Before she could respond, a shout erupted from across the street. Sir, one of Adrian's men yelled. We found something. Adrian grabbed Elena's wrist and pulled her with him. There, taped to her apartment gate, was a note written in the same handwriting as the texts. You shouldn't have survived. This time I'll finish it. Elena's knees nearly buckled. Adrian's hand tightened around hers. You're coming with me, he said, a command wrapped in desperation. And for the first time, Elena's chest tightened. You're smothering me? I can't live like this. He didn't argue. Instead, he grabbed her wrist and held it like steel. Then fight with me, not against me. Frustration and fear warred inside her. Before she could respond, the alarms blared. Red lights flashed across the mansion. They're here, Adrian said, low and dangerous. Elena froze. Men moved like shadows, storming the grounds. The Velino family had found them sooner than expected. Adrian grabbed her hand. Stay close. Don't move. Bullets shattered glass. Explosions rocked the perimeter. Adrian fought with a precision that was terrifying to watch. Every strike, every command flawless. Elena tried to hide behind him, but a figure lunged at her. Adrian was there in an instant. He blocked the attack, sending the assailant flying. His eyes burned as he looked at her. Do you understand now? He shouted over the chaos. This world isn't safe for you alone. Her chest heaved, fear and adrenaline coursing through her veins. She swallowed hard. I understand. He pulled her into a protective embrace. For the first time, Elena felt the full weight of his obsession, his fear and his determination. You will never face this alone, he whispered, brushing her hair from her face. Not while I breathe. Elena's hands trembled against his chest. For the first time, the man she feared wasn't just terrifying, he was necessary. And terrifyingly, irresistible. The chaos had passed. Adrian's mansion was scarred, shattered glass, scorched walls, the echo of violence lingering in every corner. But Elena was alive. Safe for now. She sat in the quiet of her room, trembling, trying to process the events. The adrenaline was fading, replaced by a hollow ache in her chest. Adrian stood in the doorway, silent, watching her. His expression was unreadable, but the storm behind his eyes had softened. Elena, he said softly. She looked up, meeting his gaze. Something stirred in her memory, a flicker, a shadow. The warehouse. Men shouting. Fear slicing through her. And I am. Adrian. Her breath hitched. Memories she had buried years ago came rushing back, vivid and unrelenting. He had saved her. He had carried her from the darkness. The realization hit her like a punch. She had always been tied to him, long before she understood, long before she feared him. I remember, she whispered, voice shaking. Adrian's eyes softened. I know, he said quietly. That night, you were supposed to be gone. I swore I would never let anyone touch you again. Tears pricked her eyes. Why didn't you tell me? Because you weren't ready, he admitted. Because I couldn't risk losing you again. She swallowed hard, the pieces of her past colliding with the present. All the fear, the obsession, the possessiveness, it wasn't cruelty. It was protection. It was devotion. Adrian stepped closer, closing the distance between them. You've always been mine, he said. Even when you didn't know it. Even when you resisted. Elena's heart raced. Fear, gratitude, and something dangerously close to desire churned inside her. I don't know what to say, she whispered. You don't have to say anything, Adrian replied. Just trust me. Stay with me. Let me keep you safe. Let me fight for you. For the first time, Elena let herself breathe, because she understood. The man she had feared, the man she had resisted, had been fighting for her all along. And she realized with a shiver that she didn't want him to stop. The dawn broke over Adrian's mansion, painting the shattered windows with pale gold. Silence filled the halls, but it was a fragile silence. Elena stood at the balcony, the wind whipping through her hair. She could still feel the echo of last night's violence, the bullets, the explosions, the chaos. And she could still feel Adrian's presence, unwavering, beside her. They won't stop, she whispered almost to herself. They won't, Adrian said, voice low behind her. But neither will I. Elena turned, meeting his dark, intense gaze. He looked both terrifying and tender, possessive yet protective. The truth was undeniable. She belonged to him and he had always known it. Suddenly, alarms blared. Her heart skipped. She braced herself, but Adrian's hand covered hers, firm and steady. They've come for a final attack, he said. Stay with me. Trust me. Together they descended into the chaos. Adrian moved with lethal precision, eliminating every threat with deadly calm. Elena followed, no longer trembling, no longer running. She realized she didn't need to. Adrian was her shield, her anchor. The enemy was relentless, but Adrian's focus was absolute. And in that battle, Elena felt something shift, fear transforming into resolve. She was no longer just the girl he protected. She was standing by his side, a silent participant in the fight that had defined their lives. When the dust settled, the mansion was scarred but standing. The enemy defeated, scattered, and broken. Adrian turned to Elena, his chest heaving, eyes blazing with emotion. He cupped her face, softening the fierce edge he always carried. Do you understand now? He asked, voice low and intimate. Every man who looked your way, every threat, every danger, it was always about keeping you safe. Because your body, your soul, have always been mine. Tears pricked her eyes and for the first time, Elena didn't resist. She stepped into his arms, feeling the safety, the obsession, the love that had always been there. Yes, she whispered. I'm yours. Completely. Adrian's lips brushed hers, a kiss that was possessive, tender, and final. Everything changed in that moment. Fear melted into trust. Obsession became love. And the girl who had once been hunted realized the terrifying, intoxicating truth. She belonged to him. Body and soul. Completely.